This program is intended for mature audiences. Parental discretion is advised.
Truth is our dogma. We believe it to be man's greatest weapon against the devil, who is...
It's that calm before the storm, huh? You've been warned. Big guns and military uniforms, yeah. You've been warned. Why? Hold up. See, this that calm before the storm, huh? You've been warned. Sackcloth saying they be warned while they mourn, huh? You've been warned.
Over cigars and well-cut steak, they laugh plus debate, plotting world conquest, and yes, the black man's fate. We be the Jew, but we never knew they hiding that page. Instead, gave us rims, Jordans, and the Mossberg gauge. Now the world stage filled with blood and rumors of war, and secret weapons being used to spread tumors galore. Across the shore, small nations hasten to form a strong alliance, sharing technological advancements of nuke science.
Number 5 on the 2018 current event list was the Greek fires that ravaged various villages in Athens, so on and so forth, in the country of Greece. The Most High ain't just setting fires in the United States of America. These things are taking place across the earth. Read to you an article, and it says, cars turn to molten metal as Greek wildfires wipe villages off the map. The Most High came through Greece and wiped various villages from Athens all the way down off the map. He was not playing around. But why is this so important? The country of Greece is the home of the Greek Empire, the beginning of the Europeans' rule of this earth. They have been ruling from that time till now. But there's something that has taken place according to these Greeks. They turned the world into what we know as hell by Hellenizing the entire earth, or pushing forth the Greek culture on the planet. But let's read something in the Apocrypha that the Greco-Roman religion of Christianity had the nerve to take out of the scriptures. Let's read something. Read what you got in 1 Maccabees, the 1st chapter and the 1st verse.
1 Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 1. And it happened, after that Alexander, son of Philip, the Macedonian, who came out of the land of Chittim, and smitten Darius king of the Persians and Medes, that he reigned in his stead.
Alexander the Greek had came and fought with the Persian Empire and took it over. And he began to rule over the entire planet. But under the Greeks, again, the Hellenization of the Greek culture flourished, which brought all types of paganism and abominable works. Homosexuality, you name it, was pushed under the Greco Empire. But let's see something. Drop down to the 9th verse.
And after his death, they all put crowns upon themselves. So did their sons after them many years. And evils were multiplied in the earth.
What was multiplied?
Evils.
And evils were multiplied in the earth. So it's no coincidence that the Most High Yahweh would kindle a fire and begin to wipe out villages in the land of Greece. He's showing you. He does not forget. He does not forget the things that take place in history as man tries to forget. So the Most High again is showing you he's going to bring judgment on these Europeans' rule. It's coming to an end. But to couple that, The Most High not only showed that in Greece, he also brought major fires and was known as Paradise, California. This is one of the most racist towns that didn't want so-called Negroes to even live there. And the Most High burnt that place to the ground.
By now, you've seen the pictures. You've heard the news stories. You've heard about the deaths. But here's what the media is not telling you. Paradise, California is one of the most racist places in the United States. 100% white conservatives who have placed Confederate flags, burned crosses, and houses in any black person that has attempted to move within that vicinity of that town. The locals warn you to stay out of Paradise. Up until last week, their biggest headline was their city councilman was trying to defend a racist post that he made on Facebook. Well, now today, Paradise no more. If you don't know your history, then you're doomed to feel sorry for the very folks that think less of you. And this is what's left of them today.
So as we see, the Most High Yahweh brought down fire upon Paradise, so-called Paradise, California. The Most High is showing you he's getting ready to bring forth fiery judgment on a major level to the paradise of this ruling empire, this Greco-Roman empire. But let's read something in the book of Isaiah, the 9th chapter.
Isaiah 9, verse 18. For wickedness burn as the fire.
See that? Wickedness burns as a fire. So again, it's no coincidence that the Most High has set fires throughout California, which is the richest state in the United States of America, which is the hub of pushing all abominations throughout this country and the earth, through Hollywood and the false sense of the American dream, drugs, you name it. All these abominations flourish in that place. So it said that the Most High kindles fire because of wickedness. Read on.
It shall kindle in the thickets of the forest.
It shall do what?
Kindle in the thickets of the forest.
Notice that. For wickedness, the Most High will bring fire and kindle it in the forest. And this is why these are forest fires going on throughout California. And those forest fires went through and ravaged Paradise. And then you have the so-called president say it was because of forest mismanagement. No, it's the Most High Yahweh bringing forth judgment in this earth. But read on, drop down to verse 19. Let's see what the Most High is using these forest fires for.
Through the wrath of Yahweh of hosts is the land darkened, and the people shall be as the fuel of the fire.
Notice that. It said that the wrath of the Most High is going to come upon this place, and people will be as the fuel of the fire. You think that this is a joke? You look at what the Most High did in Paradise, California, where neighbors that could escape came back and found their very neighbors as mere skeletons within the cars that was burned to the ground.
Well, I'm going to show you what happened here. This poor soul right here got burned out. Literally burned. This is a body, people. A body. This is what fire does. A small dog. This is what happens. He didn't make it. Nobody made it down here. These people all got burned out. I was right down below them here, and my friend, as the car's on fire, you can see he's dead.
The people truly became a fuel for the fire. But it's because of the wrath of the Most High Yahweh that these things are going on, because mankind refuses to keep his laws and commandments. Coming up on number 4 on the 2018 review list is torrential rains that hit the east coast of America. The Most High brought rains that brought historic floods on the east coast that span almost 700 miles long. But let's read something. Let's see what the scriptures has to say about these very things. Let's go to the book of Matthew, chapter 24, and pick it up at verse 37.
Matthew 24, verse 37. But as the days of Noah were, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be.
Notice that. Matthew 24 goes into great detail to let you know that in the end, before the Son of Man makes his second return, to be that conquering lion, to conquer this earth and subdue it under his feet and give it to his nation to rule. He said that it would be as the days of Noah. In the days of Noah, the Most High seen wickedness on massive levels. Murder, adultery, idolatry, fallen angels dealing with the women, you name it. But evils was upon this earth greatly. But I'm going to read to you more information to show you how those floods that hit the East Coast in 2018 that brought major floods, these are only signs that the Most High is using to try to awaken the nation of Israel and also mankind, to give you an idea that his judgment is coming. We're going to go into the book of Jasher. Again, that the European had the nerve to take out of the scriptures, which are mentioned in the Bible, in the book of Joshua and 2 Samuel. These are our records as well. But let's read something that happened in the days of Noah. And this is coming from Jasher, chapter 6 and verse 11. And it reads, on that day, Yahweh caused the whole earth to shake. Massive earthquakes. We see that happening daily. Earthquakes are resoundingly increasing on the face of this earth today. It said he caused the whole earth to shake. The sun darkened, just like we've seen in Russia, right? The foundations of the world raged. The whole earth was moved violently, and the lightning flashed and the thunder roared. All the fountains in the earth were broken up, such as was not known to the inhabitants before. And the Most High did this mighty act in order to terrify the sons of men, that there might be no more evil upon this earth. Again, these very things that we have been seeing that's going on in this earth are designed by the Most High to terrify you so that you can turn back to him and learn to keep his commandments. But we're playing games. And this is something that the Most High is not happy with. Number 3 on the list for 2018 was the ruthless and senseless murder of Jamel Roberson, one of our brothers who was doing security at a club and who was bravely trying to keep an assailant with a gun from coming back and shooting up the club. This man was a security guard and he was licensed to carry a pistol, and subdued the very brother that was coming in to bring harm to the other club patrons. But guess what? The police arrived, and without asking a proper question to see why this man was armed, why he had a person on the ground subdued, before they even asked the question, they put shells into our brother. But let's read an article titled, "Good Guy with a Gun, Only Thing is, the good guy is black." And it reads, WGN9 reports that security asked a group of drunken men to leave the bar around 4 a.m. And one of them came back in with a gun and opened fire. Roberson, who had a valid firearm permit, was armed and apprehended one of the men involved in the scene outside. A witness, Adam Harris, told the outlet he had somebody on the ground with his knee in his back, with his gun in his back, like, don't move. So again, our brother Jamel Roberson, who was trained as a security guard, subdued the assailant who came into the club and opened fire and had him down with a police maneuver. So you would think when the police arrived on the scene that they would have had at least gave the man an opportunity to announce who he was, to show his permit, and to describe what had just taken place. No. They took that opportunity to shoot that brother because all they seen was a nigger with a gun.
I'm Rob Johnson.
And I'm Erica Sargent. Developments tonight in the deadly shooting of a security guard in Robbins. We are now learning more about the officer who shot him and about past violence in that bar. We have team coverage from the south suburbs. Let's begin with CBS 2's Megan Hickey in Midlothian. Megan.
Rob and Erica, originally Midlothian's police chief said it was unclear whether Roberson was a security guard or a suspect. Now he's revising that statement, calling him a brave man. It's the explanation that friends, family, and some witnesses have been giving for days.
Had it not been for Jamel Roberson,
there would have been absolute carnage.
That 26-year-old Jamel Roberson was working to protect the patrons of Manny's Blue Room Lounge after shots rang out inside the bar. And Midlothian police responded to the scene.
And they told him, he's security, and then the officer turned and fired and killed Jamel.
And now it appears the Midlothian Police Department is confirming at least some of that story. Chief Daniel Delaney saying today that initially there were conflicting reports about whether he was a suspect or a security guard in the Sunday morning shooting. But now they know he was trying to defuse the incident, calling him, quote, a brave man who was doing his best to end an active shooter situation.
We won't get justice tomorrow. We won't get justice today.
Roberson's attorney says he was wearing a security shirt and security hat at the time of the shooting. This photo taken in September shows Roberson in a security shirt that a friend tells us he would have typically worn to a shift at the nightclub.
There's a family out here.
Stringer Harris, Roberson's friend and fellow security guard, tells me they're marching to raise awareness of the case and to ask anyone of the dozens of witnesses who were present that morning to come forward with photos and videos of what really happened.
It's a body cam out here. The truth is out here. It's cameras out here. We want justice for what's right.
And this is something that happens to us on the regular basis. But why is that? Why did our brother Jamel Roberson have to be put to death ruthlessly? When you see Europeans with guns waving them, pointing them at the police, and what have you. And the police will sit there and try to reason with them.
A terrifying scene at Mission Bay's De Anza Cove today as police surrounded this armed man who refused to give himself up. Well, tonight he's hospitalized with a gunshot wound to his stomach. 10 News reporter Allison Ash looks at why police couldn't arrest him even after he was shot.
Watch as the man in the red shirt and shorts walks with his hands up to his car. He gets in, then emerges with this.
John!
Police officers immediately shout out a warning that he's armed, then take cover. Dave Street saw it as it happened.
He got out of his car and he's waving his gun around, pointing all around everywhere. He pointed at the helicopter.
Why is it that they will shoot us down in the manner that they do, even in the year 2018? Let's get a scripture on that. Let's go to Leviticus chapter 26. And verse 17, and see why was our brother Jamel Roberson, who was a decent guy. He went to church. He sung in the choir. He was a decent brother who only was working and trying to keep other people's lives from being harmed. Why was he ruthlessly put to death? The book of Leviticus chapter 26 and verse 17 will clearly outline why this happened. Read what you got.
Leviticus 26, verse 17. And I will set my face against you.
This is the Most High talking to us, the true children of Israel. He said he will set his face against us. Read on.
And you shall be slain before your enemies.
You shall be slain before who?
Your enemies.
He said we was going to be slain before our enemies. That's right. Whether you want to accept it or not. The so-called European American, the Chinese man, the Arab, you name it, of these nations are our enemy nations, and they show it by their actions. Now, the crazy thing is, out of all of these nations, you do have some of them that really care about you. But as a whole, these people operate as your enemies. Only an enemy would shoot a brother down ruthlessly like that, without even asking questions. They shot first, and they asked questions later. But it said what?
They that hate you shall reign over you.
It said they that hate you shall reign over you. And that's why they didn't ask our brother Jamel Roberson any questions. They ruthlessly put him to death. But again, this is showing you something. Because this blood of Jamel Roberson, the blood of our brother Oscar Grant, and various brothers, Emmett Till, you name it, that has been shed ruthlessly and unjustly in this country will be paid for. The Most High will bring forth judgment on that. It's not going to continue this way. But again, in 2018, this is what's happening to us. Coming up on number 2 in 2018 was something that took place that was very sad for any of us that have children and any of us that care about our nation, the so-called black man, woman, and child. Those of us that truly care about our nation that's behind enemy lines in captivity. you had a 9-year-old by the name of Mackenzie Adams who killed herself. Notice this. A 9-year-old killed herself after going to school, a mixed integrated school. And these children mocked her for being friends with a white American. She goes home and she kills herself. Let me read something to you. It says, a black 9-year-old girl in Alabama allegedly took her own life after facing relentless bullying and racism in class, according to reports. Mackenzie Adams' relatives said she hanged herself December 3rd in her home in Linden, about 100 miles west of Montgomery. Since the start of the school year, the 4th grader had been the target of bullying at U.S. Jones Elementary School, where she was teased over her friendship with a white male classmate, according to her family. And it quotes, she was being bullied the entire school year with words such as kill yourself. You think you're white because you ride with that white boy. You ugly black bitch. You die. Notice that. A beautiful young sister put to death by her own hands.
A 9-year-old girl in West Alabama took her own life, and her mother says she was the victim of racist bullying. Mola Lengi reports.
9-year-old Mackenzie Adams was a 4th grader with a bright future.
That was my angel. You know, she was a straight-A student, very smart.
But her mother says Mackenzie struggled because she was bullied. First at a school in Linden where they lived, then at the school she transferred to, U.S. Jones Elementary in Demopolis. Her mother says she rode to school with a family friend who was white, and that a group of her classmates taunted her with racist comments.
Things you wouldn't think a 9-year-old should know. And before my baby to tell me some of the things that they had, said to her, I was just like, where are they learning this from?
Mackenzie's grandmother found her in their home last week. She had hanged herself.
Just seeing my baby laying there, not being able to say nothing to me.
The school district is investigating.
We have provided grief counselors, crisis counselors at the schools, ministers, youth ministers have been on campus.
The Linden Police Department says officers spoke to 9 administrators and teachers at the school, and all said they had no knowledge of Mackenzie being bullied. Mola Lengi, CBS News.
But why is that? Why did the Most High allow a spirit to drive our young sister to put herself to death? Simply because we are violators. Our people have been breaking the commandments of the Most High Yahweh for centuries. And according to Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter and the 15th verse, he said if we didn't keep his commandments, he was going to pour all these curses upon us. And this is what we are living today, where a 9-year-old beautiful little sister, Mackenzie Adams, could kill herself. Read what you got in Deuteronomy 28 and verse 28. Let's get some more understanding.
Deuteronomy 28, verse 28. Yahweh shall smite you with madness and blindness and astonishment of the heart.
You see that? The Most High said he was going to smite us with madness, with blindness, and astonishment of heart. Madness is insanity. And when that little baby went to school and was constantly bullied by her classmates and being called ugly because she was brown 9 times out of 10, because she had woolly hair, right? She was being called ugly and told to kill herself, and even called a bitch. It drove her mad to the point of her killing herself. But this is something that we have to really think about. Get me the book of Hosea, the 4th chapter and the 6th verse. Let's get more information as to why this very thing is happening in the year 2018.
Hosea 4 and 6. My people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge.
Notice that the Most High said that we are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. We lack the knowledge of the Most High. We don't know who we are. We don't know our language. We don't know where we came from. And we don't know how to worship the Most High properly. Because guess what? Going to church is not going to cut it anymore. So much, in fact, you get a young baby get up and say, I'm sick of this church.
I'm tired of the church. I'm tired of the church.
Notice that. Read on.
Because you has rejected knowledge, I will also reject you, that you shall be no priest to me.
Notice that. The Most High chose us to be a priest nation to him, to teach the other sons and daughters of Adam righteousness. But he said he's going to reject us because we don't want to deal with the proper knowledge that we find written of in the scriptures. We want to deal with the knowledge that the European gives us. We want to get degrees and what have you, bits and pieces. But we don't want to deal with the full-scale understanding that the Most High has given us through his spirit of wisdom. Read on.
Seeing you has forgotten the law of your power.
You see that? We forgot the law of the Most High. Why? Because your pastor's constantly lying to you, talking about the law is nailed to the cross. You get men out here teaching against the commandments of the Most High, saying that his commandments are no more.
We talked about how the law stirs up sin. We looked at that. So if we Christians hope for victory over sin, we shouldn't have any relationship with the law, not even the 10 Commandments. If we should hope for victory over sin, we should not have any relationship with the law, which is over 600 of them, and also not even the Big 10.
Now I know for some it may be a little confusion because in the King James it says the wages of sin is death, and yet in the Mirror Bible it says the rewards of the law is death. Well, how do you hook that together? Well, first of all, understand the devil is not trying to get you to sin. He's just trying to get you to keep the law, because if he can get you to keep the law, you will sin.
Now, after you study, don't go off on the deep end. Because I bring a word like this, and next thing I know, you're coming in here with fringes, and you done changed your religion on me.
What?
All right? Don't go off on the deep end with this. The first sign of a cult is a group that tries to control what you eat. That's why Philadelphia, as long as I'm up here, I'm going to fight people trying to infuse the law into this church.
What?
If we would ever begin to walk in the law, we would become a cult instead of a church.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man? Bro, I'm out, man. That nigga's tripping.
Which is that is a complete lie from Satan in the pit of hell itself. Read on.
I will also forget your children.
He said what?
I will also forget your children.
Notice that. The Most High said he would forget your children. And this is why a baby, a 9-year-old, could put herself to death after being teased at the hands of her classmates. He has forgot our children because we forgot him. So we must turn back. This is why when you read in Deuteronomy 6, it teaches us that we must teach our children. In Deuteronomy, the 30th chapter, it says that we must keep the commandments, and he will put that spirit on us and our children. We must do these things. Because if we don't, we're going to be destroyed. And if you truly care about your children, you will teach them the correct way. Coming up on number 1, which is the epitome of evil and wickedness that you find in America and that permeates throughout the globe. You have America's first ever transgender male by the name of Patricio Manuel winning its, and I do repeat, its debut fight.
Interview with Pat here momentarily. All right, let's bring in Naz. Naz, go ahead.
Pat, oh my God, congratulations. I am so happy for you. Walk us through what you're feeling emotionally right now that you've made your pro debut.
Oh man, I think if everyone knew what it took to get to this point, it's been almost 2 years since I've been in the ring even.
Hello. We all want to hear you, Pat.
Oh. What I was saying was, I think if people knew what it took to get to this moment, it's been almost 2 years since I've been in the ring. And I just got to say, my opponent, my hat's off to him. He came there to fight. He was fighting me the whole time. He fought me as a man, and I have so much respect for him. I hear some fans aren't happy. It's okay, I'll be back. I'll make you happy then.
You tell them that. So everyone in life has a purpose, and you never gave up on your dream. You always went and continued to fight. What is your purpose moving forward?
I can do the last part.
What is your purpose moving forward? What's next for you?
What's next is I've got some naysayers out there I need to prove that I deserve to be in here as
Here
well.
it is, a female using so-called state-of-the-art technology, transforming herself from a female into a man, went into the ring and won her professional debut fight. And they celebrated that. This was something that this society looked at as a great thing. But let's see something. Let me read something to you that should startle you. And if it doesn't startle you, when we get to these scriptures, you should have some type of fear in your heart when you see this evil being portrayed in the earth. But it reads, the first ever transgender male pro boxer in the U.S., Manuel, age 33, won his premier professional fight against Mexico's Hugo Aguilar. Right? Now this is quoted from this abomination. Quote, I wouldn't trade any of it. It was worth everything I went through to get to this point, Manuel told the Los Angeles Times. Notice that. But notice this. Notice what the fighter, who was a male, Hugo Aguilar, a man, an actual man, notice what he had to say and what this article says about him. It says, and truth be told, Aguilar, who was fighting in the U.S. for the first time, said he didn't know about Manuel's journey until a few days before. But he assured the Times it didn't matter to him. Quote, for me, it was very respectable, he told the paper in Spanish. It doesn't change anything for me. In the ring, he wants to win, and I want to win too. That it goes to show you. This so-called Mexican got the brakes beat off of him by a transgender so-called male, a female. And he was all right with that. But it shows you, once any society gets to the point where homosexuality is the norm, and it's the practice of society, and it's tolerated, as the government tries to tell us to do, you're on the brink of destruction. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 3, and we're going to pick it up at verse 9. Let's see what the Most High Yahweh has to say concerning this abominable thing that has taken place in this earth, where a transgender female turning itself into a man beat a man in a professional boxing match, and now it's paraded as something great. Let's see what the Most High has to say about this. Isaiah chapter 3 and verse 9.
Isaiah chapter 3 and verse 9. The show of the countenance doeth witness against them.
Notice that. It says the show of the countenance does witness against them. Your countenance is your face. Your show is, the show of your countenance means you're okay with that. And it said that, read that again.
The show of their countenance doeth witness against them.
Notice that. It says the show of their countenance witness against them. That female that transferred itself into a male, that countenance or her face, it shows. Because you're a female, no matter what you try to do. It doesn't matter if you take the hormone shots. It doesn't matter if you take all these different things that make you grow facial hair. The show of your face bears witness. Read on.
And it declared their sins as Sodom.
And does what?
Their sins as Sodom.
It declares their sins as Sodom. Notice that. The Most High Yahweh wiped out Sodom and Gomorrah and 4 neighboring cities because of this very wicked thing that was taking place.
Babylon's gonna fall, fall. Tell me, are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? Babylon's gonna fall, fall. Tell me, are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready?
Hey yo, you know we in the end where sin is love and celebrated. Men with sodomized minds paid to get castrated. It's all related to the times written by the prophets.
Homosexuality, transgenderism, adultery, you name it, is running rampant in this earth. And it's paraded. And the Most High is not happy with that. Read on.
They hide it not.
They do what?
They hide it not.
They don't hide it. They put it in society's face for you to see it. They put it all over social media. They pull it all throughout the TVs, all in the movies, the music. These things are being paraded in the earth. And the Most High is not happy with that. Read on.
Woe unto their soul.
It said, woe unto their soul. Woe means destruction. Read on.
For they have rewarded evil unto themselves.
Notice that. The Most High has said that you have rewarded evil unto yourself for this very thing. This is not okay. So this showing you in 2018, it's coming down to the wire. Again, where you can have a transgender beat a natural man in a boxing match and everybody's okay with it. You're on the brink of destruction. So this is something for you to think about. But let's close it out with a bonus current event that people are not really paying attention to. But it's going to affect every so-called American and everybody on the face of this globe very soon. And what am I talking about? The United States has suspended their nuclear treaty with Russia, which was founded during the Cold War era. This very thing, this treaty, this agreement was put together to stop both powers from stockpiling nuclear weapons that would destroy the entire globe. And now this treaty is getting ready to be suspended simply because the administration that runs the White House today feels Russia is in violation.
Russia is firing back at President Trump's new threat to pull out of a landmark nuclear weapons treaty. One Russian official warns breaking the pact would be a very dangerous step. Here's Roxana Saberi.
As worries about a new arms race between the U.S. and Russia intensify, the 3-decade-old treaty requiring the two countries to eliminate missiles like these could be coming to an end.
But what is this leading to? This is something very, very serious that we must think about. With all the different events that we've seen taking place in 2018, we are coming to a close of time. You had better pay attention to this. Guess what? Long story short, you have no business being in their military, none whatsoever. The United States government does not represent you. But guess what? The actions of this place is going to affect you very soon. So again, we need to pay attention to what's going on in the United States of America, what's going on with Russia, with Iran, so on and so forth. Because these very countries are going to play a key role in prophecy in the end. Let's see something. Let's go to the book of Isaiah. Let's close this thing out and see how serious this very thing is. We're going to go to the book of Isaiah, chapter 47. And we're going to pick this up at the 6th verse. And it reads, I was wroth with my people. I had polluted my inheritance and had given them into your hand. You did show them no mercy. Upon the ancient have you very heavily laid your yoke. The Most High was angry with our forefathers, so-called black man, woman, and child, you original Israelite. He was angry with us. Therefore, he gave us over into the hands of the European to be spoiled, to be mistreated for centuries until the end time. This is where we are at today. But notice something. Let's see what the Most High says. Verse 7. And you said, I shall be a lady forever. This is exactly the mindset of America. She believes that judgment will never reach her. But the Most High said, he got something else in store. He said, you said, I shall be a lady forever, so that you did not lay these things to your heart, neither did you remember the latter end of it. Notice that. America does not think judgment will come to her. She thinks that all the things that she has done to the so-called Negro, that we should just forget it. We should just move on. She thinks that it's okay to allow her police officers to shoot us down in the streets and then allow them to go to court and be found not guilty. She thinks that it's okay to rain bomb upon bomb on any country she so damn well pleases. But the Most High has something else in store. Judgment is going to come to this place, and it's going to come soon. And this is what all this, the United States going back on the treaty with Russia, the United States trying to check Iran from getting nuclear bombs, this is what this is all about. It's coming to an end. But let's see something. Let's go to the Apocrypha. I want to get additional information concerning this country, this stinking country that we reside in today. let's see something else. They say that they're going to be a lady forever, huh? But let's see what the Most High Yahweh has said concerning this place. Again, we're going to go to the book of Baruch, chapter 4, and we're going to pick it up at verse 30. And it reads, "Take a good heart, O Jerusalem." That's you, so-called black man. Take a good heart. Get a proper heart in the sight of the Most High. Learn his word. Keep his commandments. For he that gave you that name will comfort you. Miserable are they that afflicted you, and rejoiced at your fall. Miserable are the cities which your children served. Miserable is she that received your sons. Verse 35. For fire shall come upon her from the everlasting, long to endure. Notice that. Fire is going to come to this place, whether she likes it or not. And this is exactly why them going back on the treaty with Russia, and now Russia beginning to stockpile their ICBMs, or intercontinental ballistic missiles. They're starting to stockpile them on a grand scale now. And it's only going to lead to a nuclear exchange that will result in the destruction of this place. But the Most High is going to do that because of what they've done to us. But again, this is why it is so serious for you to review what took place in 2018 to see that you are running out of time, whether you want to accept it or not. It's high time, as the scripture says in Romans the 13th chapter and the 11th verse, it's high time for our people to awake out of sleep. So-called black man, woman, and child, the Most High is calling you. Let me read something to you out of Baruch chapter 4 and verse 36. It says, "O Jerusalem, look about you toward the east." O Jerusalem, as our dear sister Lauren Hill sung about. That's you. The so-called black man, woman, and child, you are the children of Jerusalem. You are the true children of Israel. And the Most High is telling you to look to the east. Why? Because he knows you're in the West in slavery. And this is why these things are happening. So when you see these events taking place on this earth, pay attention. Take heed. Watch and pray, because it's almost over. And if you do not turn back to the Most High Yahweh and keep his commandments, judgment will find you, and you will find yourself put to death. What are you going to do? So we here at the S.W.O.R.D.S of Zion, we urge you, as the new so-called new year arrives, according to these Romans in their calendar, in 2019, we advise you to seek out the Most High Yahweh through his son Yahushua, whom the world, these Europeans, ignorantly renamed Jesus, recolored, and taught for all types of false doctrine about. We advise you to find Yahushua, the Messiah, the anointed King of Israel, our big brother. Find him, walk in his footsteps, and keep the commandments as he did. Do those things that are pleasing to Yahweh. So when judgment does finally arrive here, when judgment comes to this planet, the Most High will spare you. This is what this is all about. The time is near. The time is out for the games. Seek the Most High Yahweh while he may be found. Let me leave you with the scripture. Let's go to Leviticus chapter 26 and pick it up at the 40th verse. Let me lead you with words of encouragement, because we see nothing but bleak doom as we see in 2018. But again, the Most High is calling for you. Let's see what the so-called black man has to do in order to be spared from the judgment that's coming here. If you want to be a part of the remnant that's going to escape, I advise you to take heed to these words. Because guess what? The Most High has prophesied that 2/3 of our people are going to be put to death ruthlessly. And the Most High is not going to play no games, as we see with all his judgment that he has brought on this earth in just the year 2018 alone. 2/3 of our people are going to be put to death. If you want to be a part of that 1/3, we advise you to take heed to these scriptures. Leviticus chapter 26, and we're going to read the 40th verse.
If they shall confess their iniquity and the iniquity of their fathers, which they trespassed against me, and that also they have walked contrary unto me, and that I also have walked contrary unto them, and have brought them into the land of their enemies.
Have done what?
Have brought them into the land of their enemies.
Notice that the so-called Jew again has never went into the land of his enemies. He has not been brought as slaves to anybody's land. Don't let them fool you with that. But he said that he brought us into the land of our enemies. He's walked contrary to us. And the Most High should have walked contrary to us because we have been wicked. Read on.
If then their uncircumcised heart be humbled, and they then accept of the punishment of their iniquity, then will I remember my covenant with Jacob, and also my covenant with Isaac, and also my covenant with Abraham will I remember, and I will remember the land.
Notice that the Most High promised he's going to remember if we accept the punishment of our iniquity, meaning our lawlessness, meaning us not keeping the commandments. If we accept that punishment of the curse that you find in Deuteronomy 28 that is upon us as a people, we accept that, the Most High said he's going to remember that covenant that he made with our forefathers. The covenant that the Most High made with our forefathers is to be the kings and the priests of this earth, to represent him in this earth, to be a righteous superpower. That's what the Most High has made a covenant with us to do.
But I will for their sakes remember the covenant of their ancestors, whom I brought forth out of the land of Egypt in the sight of the heathen, that I might be their power. I am Yahweh.
Notice that. So the Most High said he will remember the covenant of our ancestors. Our ancestors were not Egyptians. Our ancestors were not Ethiopians. We are the true children of Israel. Your direct ancestors is Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Black men, men of color. Everybody that you read in the scriptures were men of color. Make no mistake about it. And the Most High promised that he would remember that covenant that's made with our people. And that's not just talking about the old, it's also the new for our people that's in the Christian church. Because according to the book of Hebrews, the 8th chapter, beginning at the 8th verse, the new covenant is also made with the children of Israel and the children of Judah. And that's who we are. So we must accept this punishment. We must begin to seek the Most High's face by keeping his law, by doing the word. Not just hearing it, doing it. Loving the Most High, Yahweh, with your whole heart, mind, and soul. Loving your brother as you love yourself. Getting away from the pagan holidays. Getting away from the paganistic way of life. The false diet. The swine eating. The crab leg breaking. You understand? It's time for us to get back to keeping the laws that's written in the scripture so that you can be saved. And for you Gentiles, we got something for you. Get me the book of Zechariah, the 8th chapter. And we'll pick it up at verse 20. Because guess what? Judgment is coming to the Gentile as well. It starts at the house of Israel first. Because we're going to be the first to get it. Jacob's trouble is around the corner. And the tribulation period that you hear the church talk about is going to be aimed at us. But for you Gentiles that have mistreated the people of the Most High, you got something coming that you can't even imagine. Because of your pride. And because of the might of your military. Because of your financial power. The Most High has something that's coming to you that you will never be able to see coming. But you have a warning. This is for you Gentiles. You need to humble yourself and understand who the true and living Israelites are.
Let me just reveal some things. First of all is that the Jews who are brought in Israel, most of them are white. Not most of them, almost all of them are white. Including me. I was brought in Israel from a country which is called Bulgaria. It's a European country. And I can tell you that in every European country, there are Jews, and there is so-called organization, Jewish Agency, which is trying to take those Jews to Israel. If you track this organization, you can find out that this is not an Israeli organization. This is an American organization. Jewish Agency is an American organization which has the exclusive right to decide who is Jewish and who is not on this planet, and who to be taken to Israel and who is not. And I can tell you why. Because the true Jews, according to the Bible, you can check it in the Bible, you can read Job 30:30 and some other places. They have never been white. They have been people of color. And they have not stopped in Ethiopia. They were in Ethiopia, Sudan, and they have settled in West Africa. From West Africa, they have been taken as slaves to America. Brothers and sisters, blacks of America, it's you. You are the true Hebrews. You are the true Hebrews from the Bible. America gonna do everything, gonna invest as much money as it has, gonna fight as much wars as they can, gonna invite as much weapons as they can, just to hide this away from you.
Read what you got.
Zechariah chapter 8, verse 20. This say, Yahweh of hosts, it shall yet come to pass, that there shall come people and the inhabitants of many cities.
You see that? The people and inhabitants of many cities are going to come. Read on.
And an inhabitant of one city shall go to another, saying, let us go speedily to pray before Yahweh.
You see that? So all nations, all the Gentiles is going to come speedily and say, let us go pray to Yahweh. You know why? Because their pagan God, Jesus Christ, that they created, who is not the one you read about in Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, he ain't going to be able to save them. The pagan God of the so-called Arabs, the Kaaba stone that they bow down to, is not going to be able to save them. The pagan God Buddha, Krishna, and all these other gods of these nations will not be able to save them. They're going to recognize that the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, whose name is Yahweh, whose son's name is Yahweh, he alone is the Savior. He alone is the God of the universe.
Verse 23. This say, Yahweh of hosts, in those days it shall come to pass that 10 men shall take hold of all languages of the nation, even shall take hold of the skirt of him that is an Israelite, saying, we will go with you, for we heard that Yah is with you.
You see that? And all nations is going to take hold of our garments with our fringes on and say, you know what? We've heard that the Most High Yahweh is with you. So for you Gentiles, you must humble yourselves and seek the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob before it's too late for you. Read what you got. The book of Mark chapter 13 and verse 33.
Mark chapter 13 and verse 33. Take you heed, watch and pray, for you know not when the time is.
Notice that. So as we conclude this edition of the Take You Heed, Watch and Pray current event news segment, we ask that you take heed, that you watch and you pray, because 2018 was a crazy year on the Roman calendar, and it's going to get worse. Mark that. So if you don't begin to seek the Most High's face now, you're going to face certain judgment. So again, we here at the S.W.O.R.D.S of Zion, we are here to serve you, being servants of the Most High Yahweh and his son, Yahweh. We're here to serve you. So you can contact us with our contact information, subscribe to the channel, and follow the teachings so that you can gain vital information on how to serve the true and living God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob that's found written of in the scriptures. Because time is running out, and it's imperative for you to seek his face before it's too late. It doesn't matter what the collegiate, the religious, the political, none of those worlds say. The Most High Yahweh exists. And he's getting ready to stand up and show this world how true and living he is. Get on his good side before it is too late. So with that, we say Shalom.
Shalom.
And may the Most High Yahweh continue to be with you. And may you continue to seek the spirit of wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Shalom.
Shalom.
Babylon's gonna fall. Tell me, are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? Babylon's gonna fall. Tell me, are you ready?
Hey yo, you know we in the end with sin is love and celebrated. Men with sodomized minds pay to get castrated. It's all related to the times written by the prophets. Babylon soon to fall and get flamed by the rockets at the hands of the seeds of the Medes. Cause the greed of this Roman Empire stretches out to the 7 seas. From Canada to Belize, you find the chosen seed. Bow to their enemies while their minds under siege. We deceive, drunken off the golden cup of Babylon.